Hello YouTube, Camodo Gaming here, bringing you guys another episode of City Skylines, and today we're going to be expanding on downtown. Now if you recall the last episode, we really turned things around, got our policies in place, and everything started to skyrocket. We were making 70,000 plus a week, our population's just going up. A lot of that is to do with the policies that we put into place in a lot of our residential districts to encourage high-tech housing. I think we've also changed some stuff in the downtown district with giving the tax breaks to the right people. So really happy with what's happening now. Also, last episode, let's go ahead and point this bad boy out. We did add our baseball stadium, which looks actually really pretty cool. And we started to work on this section here. I've got a little bit of a trash issue. I am seeing a trash truck go up and down the street, so I'm assuming that's going to clear itself up. But yeah. This area down here is what I'm really wanting to use, and I'm a little concerned. This map is pretty sloped, and you can see these buildings right here, which I'm going to get rid of these. I don't like when it builds some of these buildings and it changes the terrain up like it has here, so say if I were to delete these, you can see the terrain goes back down. Now this is a little bit of a funky area anyways. This actually kind of looks like San Francisco with the streets that go up and are wavy and elevated, but I don't want my buildings to do the same thing, so I'm not going to actually use the terrain tool. What we're going to do, let's grab a 4-lane maybe here, and let's just go down here, and we're going to cut this. Let's cut it about right here. Now that looks like a fairly nice spot to at least have like a park, but the problem is the park's going to do the same thing. So what I'm probably going to do with this square is make one of those parks where it's not actually labeled as a park, but I can go in with the prop placer and the trails, and I can make it actually look like it's a city park without it actually being one, which is kind of a shame that you can't create your own, but I think it will cover up this area nicely. So as far as new businesses, we've got a high demand for commercial zoning, or medium demand actually, and what we're going to do, we're going to run along the highway here. So let's get our curve tool here, and let's make a nice, don't want to make it here. That looks like a fairly gradual turn that goes along with the highway. Now I'm not too worried about building close to the highway because of the noise barriers are up, so we should be fine there. Let's go ahead and zone this with high density commercial, see if we can get something to pop up on the hill here. Okay, so I think we should connect maybe this street to that street. That will probably work. Let's keep that at a straight angle. Actually, it will not let me keep that straight. It's got a nice little curve to it. So let's delete that. Let's go and delete this here. I'm not happy with the way this looks. I feel like maybe we should go from, say, here to here. Does that create a curve? Ooh, it does. Okay. So what we're going to do here, to keep from gridding the area, we're going to do something like this. Let's try to keep the gap, let's go back a little bit here. Let's try to keep the gap at a minimum here, maybe about a block. That works about like that. And let's add one more street here. Now, this is still on a fairly, I would say, bad slope, but we'll see what happens once we get these streets in place. If I were to place another one here, it needs to come in a little bit further out. I know this is probably kind of weird looking when I'm building. Actually, we might need to actually create this last curve manually, so maybe something like that. So that gives it a nice, I actually like the way that looks. It gives it a nice little look to it. I'm not really sure what's going to happen when the buildings get in. We're about to figure that out. Let's go ahead and make sure we're covered in water over here. Let's go ahead and go up like this. And this was going to be the trickiest part about this little city section. Let's go ahead and connect those. Was to figure out how to deal with the terrain down here and also the highway itself, which I feel like we have plenty ways on and off the highway, so that's not really a concern, but it's, you know, building really close to it is something that's a little tricky at times. So that goes down like that. I feel like we can probably move this 4-lane, let's keep it straight, and a 90-degree angle here. Let's move this down into this direction. So let's go ahead and start creating some squares. And this is where we will probably grid up a little bit. All right, so we're gonna connect off this street here. It's a 90-degree angle. So we've got a couple, I feel like, nice streets. I feel like this whole area's looking pretty good. Now, before I start zoning, it looks like we have a couple def icons. I should probably look into that. I'm debating, I could leave these two squares open and just create another city park, or I could close them. Let's go ahead and create some cross streets through here. I want to try to minimize the gap. That looks good. Okay, so let's zone in. Let's go ahead and zone in some high-density residential here. And we're going to allow that on the outer part of the city. So I like that. And then we can do our commercial over here. Now I need to worry about our transportation and all of that's going to be coming up really soon. I need to probably place some bus stations. Let's see. Does our metro line run out here too? Let's go ahead and check that. Actually, before that, let's go ahead and get a taxi station in. They don't use many of these, but I feel like they're nice to have around the city to have options. Let's see, metro station wise, we do not have one out here, so we're going to make a connection probably right by the taxi stop there, and we'll connect into the main line here, and let's connect into it by the airport here. So that'll run across, and I'll have the option to put some more stations in these new sections. So we've got that going. Buses. I'm going to debate. I probably am going to build another little station. I've been using a modded bus station, which looks really good. It's the non-stop bus terminal. And that can go up. Can I send it up here? Probably right about there. Does that get power? Yes, it does. Okay, so I'll run some actual stops through here and figure out where this needs to go. But it's getting dark. I'm going to let it run overnight and see where these zones fill out, and then I'll kind of figure out where I need to start building next, and we'll figure out a road structure depending on what they're going to start using. So we'll do that. Might fill in this area with the park. I'm still not sure about this gap right here. I might have a specialty building or something I can use right here. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Alright, so I've added a little park here. Just kind of did this overnight to see what I can come up with. I'll probably add quite a few more props in here, but I just wanted to put something in this empty square, and as you can see, people are actually utilizing it, which is quite nice. So we've done that. It's got a nice backdrop here with all the skyscrapers. I made sure, and I almost got hit by a plane there, to highlight, so this is all one district now, and all these new areas, up until the highway here, and I don't know, I think we're going to get that far, I'm not really sure. So, one more thing I want to go ahead and say, you can see it's running really smooth up here. When I go down, I do apologize for the frame rate drops. Even though I have a beefy system, City Skylines, once you get a certain population and you get into these really dense areas, it does typically do that. So, anyways, as you can see here, they are using the new areas. I've got some residential popping up. We've got our commercial popping up over here. In the middle right here, we're going to go ahead... This is still a tricky one. I think we can go in here and add maybe some cross streets. Does that match up? Oh, it does. I feel comfortable with that. Even though that probably creates more intersections than I really want it to right down here, I think this will be okay. So on the other side here, I would like to actually add offices, but there's no demand right now. And I don't know, I want to be patient and just kind of wait for that demand to show up before I fill this in with anything. One more thing I want to take a look at here. This was a couple episodes ago. This was our new industrial district. Let's see. How are things? They're actually going pretty good. It looks like there's a lack of some raw materials. But other than that, all the worker icons are gone. I still feel like we can go and expand this little neighborhood over here too real quick to kind of future-proof it. So let's go out 3 squares all the way across. This is going to be a little bit more of a gridded neighborhood because I'm not really 100% sure what's going to be developed around this. I don't want to call this like, alright, this is going to be a small neighborhood and nothing's going to pop up around it because I don't know if this industrial demand is going to go up. Ideally, I don't want to add that much more industrial, but I like having it on both sides of the city. Especially once I add some more generic industrial, it'll add goods and all that can go into the city. That way there's not as much traffic jams over here, which, you know, this really isn't that bad. Like, I've seen way worse stack-ups. So I feel like our road system's actually working right now. Let's go ahead and highlight all through here and give them that back section. And we've got water. That should be good to go. So if they want to start moving in there, last thing, get them in the district. There we go. All right. Now, I'm still trying to think of a name for the city itself, or the downtown district. Right now it's called Belmont Square, but I have to say this is a little bit more than a square right now. Not really sure there. Let's see. Let's go ahead and create another cross street here. Question is, where is that cross street? There's so many buildings. I gotta figure out, okay, looks like we have a street here. Do we have one? That really looks to be our nearest street, so we're gonna have to delete somebody's building right here and connect these two together. There we go. Now, I'm not gonna connect them off of this main road here. This is I believe it's a 6 lane. No, it's still a 4 lane, but that's our, like, I would say it's our inlet to the downtown district, and I don't want to interrupt that with any cross streets. So we're good to go there. Let's go ahead and fix this up, and we're going to reconnect those power lines. So let's go here and here. And those power lines are going to need to move. So let's run them now up like probably this, and I can get rid of these ones over here. There we go. So those are all zonable areas. As soon as we get the demand, we'll have that. So that's going to fill out even closer to the highway. There will probably be another section. We'll probably continue this curve here, and I can go ahead and get that ready. Let's say from here to... Can we say about, like, that's too big of a curve. So let's go about from there to there, and then finish that curve off all the way out here. It's 180 degrees, so that should match up over here, I believe. Let's see. Can we get a 90 here? Yes, we can. Look at that. That is beautiful. Beautiful. All right, so we've got a nice area over here. I don't know if we're going to utilize the right side of this highway. That's a big maybe. But we've got plenty of spaces over here. So let's go ahead, connect this street out. I need a 90. There we go. And let's go ahead and put our cross streets up through here. The question is this going to match on the last street? It might not. No, it's not. We'll see what we're going to do in that little gapped area. Okay, so this part of the city's, I would say, a little far off from some of our services. We've got hospitals and stuff up on the hill, so we're good there. Fire stations, even though we're in the blue, I still feel like I would be more comfortable if there was another small station down here, just in case something caught on fire. So we're going to stick one on the corner here. And we're going to stick a small police station right beside it here. So we've got those. It's going to make everybody happy in the area. We've got the park here, and I really wish this park would have an effect on people, but it's not going to. So I could still do something with this square here and just not put a bunch of buildings in it, but I don't know if that's going to be a waste or not. Let's see. Do we have any of our specialty buildings that we were intending on putting in here? Yeah, I've been searching through these specialty buildings, and there's none that are really catching my eye right now. There's a couple really big ones that I would like to stick in here somewheres, including like this Theater of Wonders. You've got that. You've got another little stadium here, which I'm not really sure what that might be. It says it's going to be a requirement for building the space elevator. So it's a funky looking stadium. I don't know where it's going to fit. Maybe we could use it in this square here and break this square up. Not really sure. Let's go ahead and try that real quick. Let's cut this square down to here. Now, if this fits perfectly in here, this will be excellent, but I don't think it's going to. Let's go with our 4-lane. Let's run it across like that. And let's run the stadium here. What does that look like? Oh, you're kidding me. It does fit. Okay. Alright, you know what? I'm digging that. That works. It made some residents unhappy. It made the commercial happy. This new commercial looks like it's lacking. Not enough goods to sell. We'll see if we can fix that here in a second, but yeah. You know what? I can dig that. I don't know as far as the grounds around it. That might stay bare. We'll see when they start building up around, but it looks like we're cruising through another night here. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. We might be adding a little bit of industrial here. I know it says industrial or offices, but I'm feeling like we're having a little shortage of goods. So, you know what? I'm going to go over here real quick and highlight this. I don't normally like to build at night, but let's see. Has that got water on it? Yes, it does. So, zoning-wise, let's make sure that's not going to be in their district, because that's going to need to be like a generic industrial. So, we'll see if that pops up and see what it does there. And we're going to go around today again. Alright, here we are, another beautiful morning here in the city, and I figured out what I want to stick right here in front of the stadium. This little plaza fits perfectly there. It might look a little odd. You know what? I feel like this whole area, we're going to probably loosen it up a bit. I'm going to keep the compactness down here to the south, or we'll call this, I always say south when I'm looking this way. So right here to the bottom side of the city, this is going to be compact all the way around the highway, but this little corner right here, we're going to try something a bit different with it. Let's go maybe smaller streets, or do we want to keep the 4 lanes? I don't know. Let's see here. So if we were to curve this out to make it kind of run along, say, here, where would that connect streetwise here? So let's run this a little further out, and we're going to run this. Why will you not let me go into 90 here? Let's see. See if we can cut that. There we go. So we've got that street, and we can connect almost straight into here. It's going to make me curve this. So let's go like that. There we go. So that gives it a little bit different look. I really like that we are breaking away from the gridded zones that we had. What do we have a demand for right now? Still commercial zoning, and it's a little, I don't know, it's a little discouraging. Like, it seems like for the most part we fixed this area over here, but I have a feeling if I add a whole bunch more, we might start it back up. Let's experiment here and say, let's go ahead and open this up to commercial zoning here. And one more here. So let's let them have that. And let's try to encourage offices. So let's start a zone of offices here. Let's just see what happens. We have a little bit of a low demand for industrial or offices, but I don't know if they're going to take advantage of that. See some worker icons. Yep, we got some worker icons here in the new little bit of zoning that we added to industrial, but they should fill those, in theory, with this new section of the neighborhood. Alright, so there was a little gap here on this zone. You can see it better like this. Stuck a parking garage here, and we're going to watch this develop a bit. I am getting a small decline in population right now, and I'm not really 100% sure why. That's why I'm always a little leery of adding a bunch of commercial zoning and industrial zoning, because if for whatever reason there isn't the demand, or say it's there and then it disappears really quick, it always seems to hurt your population for a bit. It definitely isn't anything to do with services. Now over here, maybe, let's see what we have going on as far as, we've got bus lines coming out here. They're not necessarily going down in this bottom street. Taxi zone. You even have a metro line. Maybe we can get another metro stop over here on this side. That would probably be wise. Let's see. Let's go with that. And let's stick it, I guess, right here and connect you into the main lines here. And let's go ahead and connect you down to here. So that means I need to create another actual loop. So let's say it started here. We'll drop off at that station back here. I don't know if we're really having people commute from Sheffield Square over to the industrial zones. I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and we'll send it south into the city. Sometimes these loops don't necessarily have to make 100% logical sense, but let's see. I just kind of sometimes just place these wherever because it seems to just make people happy in general. So if you go back there, that should loop around and complete the line here. Okay, we'll see what that does. We'll let that set for a second. It's starting to rain. What do we got up here? What's going on? Oh, this is one of those evacuation zones. Is it not enough food? Okay, so services are not getting out to it. By the way, somebody asked the other day, do you have a prison? And yes, I don't know if I actually put this in an episode. I built one out here as a temporary release for prisoners, and I didn't realize how close my neighborhoods were going to get to it. I think this is going to get moved. Maybe up here? You know, this is actually really pretty up here. Man, I've really got some ideas going through my head here. This would be a great looking neighborhood. Like, I could picture having some really nice houses up here on the mountain. We're going to need to expand. I need to work on this side of the map more because there's a lot of land here that I haven't taken advantage of. But I guess for the time being, let me focus on one thing and we'll go back over here and see what we can do. Right now, our population's sitting at 0. No gain, no loss. I'll take that over loss, so... Okay, so we've got a little bit of a lack of education down here as far as there being a lot of that elementary school availability is not there. And that's always been a tough one here, so we're going to place an elementary school, and we need to stick it in a spot that it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. I can get rid of some buildings here. Could we stick it on that street? What about over here? Let's clear this up and see if there's a good spot for this. I don't necessarily think if there is a good spot, it's just kind of where are we going to stick it. And yeah, we have a shortage, so let's go about right in here. And we're going to stick an elementary school here. I think our high schools are doing good. It's just the elementary schools is kind of where we're lacking right now. I feel like we might. I don't want to stick them out here because Emerson Park is not for, I know it's still going to sound bad, I say it every episode, it's not for the educated. It's morely for, we need to send you out to the factories to work, style citizen. We'll have to see. I need to stick another one of these down somewheres. As far as our university and high school availability, that's working fine. But I don't want to mess with anything else here. As you can see, since placing that new commercial zone, our icons are starting to pop back up over here. So that is indeed not balancing itself out. You get that demand for commercial, but obviously they're doing fine over here. We're not getting icons. So that tells me that goods... Let's see, what's our traffic like here? That's, looks like some commercial style cars here. I wouldn't think that they're not getting service, or not getting it because of the road layout, because as soon as you get off the highway here, you have the option right about here, which, you know what, that could be the issue. I feel confident enough being able to add a intersection here. Let's see. If we were to add one, we would need to add a road probably right here. But we're going to turn off the lights because I think that's going to be mostly inflow traffic, maybe a little bit of outflow, but I don't think it's busy enough right now. It's going to cause an issue. So we'll see if that helps clear up some of those icons, having that direct hit. Because I just now noticed that, yes, they can only start going over there if they get to this busy intersection here, which already has a decent amount of cars coming off the highway from this side too, so that's well, that was a major def icon. Oh, still there. And it disappears. Huh, it's weird. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward time here, and hopefully this will start to clear up, and we'll see what more demands we might need. Alright, good morning here from the city again. What I've done, before we wrap this up, I went ahead and zoned, even though there's not much of a demand for it, we're actually losing a bit of population. I zoned this residential in to see what happens, and we've got a little bit more commercial zoning here, so I'm going to leave this area alone for now and let the natural demand just appear. I do have the area all laid out. Of course, you've got the streets that we built here today, the park, which, you know what, let's go ahead and add some more trees to it real quick. Just make it look beautiful. Let's go ahead and do that, and then we're probably going to about wrap this episode up here. But we are accomplishing quite a bit. It's a little bit grindy right now, so I kind of have to have patience, and I can't sit there and build something big and grand each and every time, because getting ahead of yourself in this game will absolutely kill the city. So we're going to let that demand fill in, add some trees here. That's looking a whole lot better. I'm actually really kind of digging that. So I've got that park ready to go here. If you guys have any suggestions for the series or any areas you'd like to see built, do keep in mind, we've done most of the major things that you would do to a city. I'm still, like I said, waiting on that mass transit expansion to come out, because that's going to have like monorails and stuff. and I think that's going to be really cool to have actually see like above ground passenger trains for this. I don't know if we can really, I don't know if this map is going to be really suited for a ferry. Maybe we could do that too once that comes out. So really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to continuing this series. I want to thank everybody for all their love and support on it. It's amazing, even though it's a smaller series, the amount of people that do come out for it, like the videos, comment on it. So this is mainly for you guys. Hopefully those icons start to disappear. There might not be quite as many of them. Now that commercial is actually growing up quite a bit. But we'll see if that settles itself out. It looks like our population dip's kind of stopping quite a bit. I mean, it's not in the hundreds like it was earlier. So we're going to let this all fill out. Like I said, guys, thanks for the love and support. If you like to like and subscribe, everything helps my channel. And we will see you guys next time on City Skylines. Thank you.